Welcome to Travis Laughs, where we primarily do two things. One, we practice doing stand-up comedy, and two, inexplicably, we refer to ourselves in the plural. Good. Cherry. There is nothing worse than when you think you've purchased a refreshing cherry beverage and you take a big mouthful and it's tangerine or lime. There's nothing worse than that. Look, I'm pretty much a positive person and I usually keep things upbeat, but I'm going to go ahead and vent for a moment about that horrible phrase, there's nothing worse than. Because it is an appalling lack of imagination that leads to the use of that phrase, and also it is wrong exactly 100% of the time. There's nothing worse than thinking you have a cherry beverage and it turns out to be lime. Well, what if you think you have a cherry beverage and it turns out to be antifreeze? That depends, bro. Is it cherry antifreeze or is it lime antifreeze? There's nothing worse than microwaving a chimichanga and taking a bite out of it and just burning the hell out of your tongue. Now you can't even enjoy your snack. Yeah, well, what if in your anger you went to slam the microwave door and there was a short in it? Now you have electricity coursing through your body and you happen to have a packet of Jiffy Pop popcorn in your back pocket. And when the electricity hits that, it pops all the popcorn and it builds up enormous pressure. And because you've been shoving your big fat wallet in and out of that pocket for years, instead of blowing the pocket off, it rips through the fabric of your pants, and a moment later you have hot, buttery, salty popcorn going right up your ass. Is it your contention that years later when people ask you about that horrible day, you're going to actually say, gather around, children, and let me assure you, there is nothing worse than burning your tongue on a snack. Even things that we can all agree are awful could always be worse. Well, there's nothing worse than when I'm parallel parking and I'm sure I have a lot of room and then I hear that crunch of metal on metal. No. What if when you hit the other car, the police siren and it goes off? Oh yeah, that'd be the worst thing ever. No. What if between you and the car you just hit was the police officer on foot? Oh yeah, that'd be the worst thing ever. No. What if his last words before he died was, I was looking for you because your unknown relative of immense wealth passed away and I was instructed to give you an incredibly fragile, incredibly valuable Fabergé egg. It's right there under your rear tire. Oh yeah, that'd be the worst. You're not listening. You could be living in a country where there wasn't delicious beverages readily available all over the place. You could be living somewhere where food was scarce instead of all the cheap and easy to prepare snacks we've got around us here. You could be living in a country where law enforcement is just a thinly disguised weapon of the elite trying to keep the common man down and holding status quo. If you live in the United States, you still have the beverage and food thing. Look, is there anything worse than entitled people who think that the bottom level of human experience is chipping a nail after a manicure? Yes! Thanks for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed this, please hit like and feel encouraged to share this with any of your crazier friends who might enjoy my sense of humor. I would recommend you put a disclaimer on the front, something like, this guy makes me laugh, but he's also stark raving mad, something like that. Also, please leave a comment, let me know how I'm doing, because there's nothing worse than creating something and not knowing how people feel about it. Unless it's creating something and not knowing and a nuclear warhead detonates a few miles away. You know, close enough to destroy everything, but far enough for it to take a little while, and you try to get a little solace by going into what's left of a convenience store and taking a few sips of a cherry beverage that turns out to be lime. This episode of Travis Laughs was brought to you by Lime Antifreeze. It's not cherry, but it'll keep you warm. Ask for it at an auto parts dealer near you and enjoy their puzzled expressions.